I started with some basic documentation to keep my ideas organized, and then I set up the project on GitHub to track my progress more efficiently. The next crucial step is to develop the basic mechanics. This process began with setting up the character and developing its movement mechanics. And done. Now, let me introduce you to my beloved, albeit a bit silly, coney-nosed, blocky character. Yeah, I know people on YouTube prefer to see more visual things, but we'll get there too. While I'm focusing on a simple blocky character for now, I promise there will be more exciting visuals as we progress through the prototyping phase. Anyway, my character needs to interact with the world around it, so I quickly set up an interaction system in Unreal, which took less than 5 minutes. Well, one of the most crucial aspects of interaction is with NPCs, which brings us to the dialogue system. Have you ever wondered how game companies decide what kind of dialogue system is needed for their projects? Let's dive into that. First of all, we can categorize dialogue system into linear and non-linear. Linear dialogues are used in games where creators choose not to give player the ability to influence the character development. In these games, characters are well developed and follow a predetermined script, like The Last of Us and Red Dead Redemption. These games are known for their strong narratives and character arcs, which are carefully crafted by developers. In contrast, non-linear dialogue systems allow players to develop their own characters and shape their unique experience within the story. This approach means that players can have vastly different experiences and outcomes, creating a sense of freedom and personal investment in the game story. Most non-linear stories are complemented by non-linear dialogue systems. While we won't be discussing non-linear stories today, we will analyze different types of non-linear dialogue systems to better understand which dialogue system might be best for our game. By examining these systems, we can make informed decisions that enhance player engagement and storytelling in our game. Branch dialogues. Branch dialogues allow players to choose from multiple responses when interacting with NPCs and creating a branching narrative that can lead to different outcomes. Players can respond with simple options like yes or no, or select from a range of responses that can significantly alter the course of the story. This approach not only provides players with a sense of freedom, but also encourages them to think critically about their choices, as each decision can lead to unique consequences. The games like Fahrenheit designed by this type of dialogue system. Branch dialogues are effective in games that give player agency, allowing for a rich and immersive storytelling experience. And also, it's expensive. Choke-point dialogues. This method creates an illusion of choice, where players can select different responses, but ultimately the conversation leads to the same outcome. While players may feel they have agency through their dialogue choices, the overall narrative remains unchanged. Instead, these choices primarily influence NPC's mood and perceptions of the player. Many games use choke-point dialogues to enhance character interactions, allowing players to build relationships with NPCs without altering the main storyline, such as all modern adventure games from Telltale. Choke-point dialogues serve as a contrast to more open-ended dialogue systems and highlighting different approaches to player choice in storytelling. Hop and spoke dialogues. With these methods, you can create a structured conversation system where players interact with an NPC and are taken to a central hub of dialogue options. From this hub, players can choose from various options that lead to different responses from the NPC.
Since when has he had a vineyard?
Yesterday, I think.
These responses can either circle back to the main hub or branch out to an inner hub for more specific discussions. In hub dialogues, players can revisit the same options or explore new ones. While most options allow players to continue the dialogue, accepting or refusing a quest may lead to a natural conclusion of that conversation, and dialogues usually wrap up when players select the farewell option.
So long.
In addition to the main hub, some dialogue lines can lead to branching paths or choke points. Even when players engaged in these more directed conversations, they will eventually return to the main hub, ensuring that they can explore other options without losing track of the overall dialogue. This design allows players to delve deeper into specific topics while still having the freedom to navigate back to the broader options available in the hub. This method is particularly effective in games where story details are crucial, allowing players to uncover rich lore and background information through their interactions. As players engage with an NPC, they are motivated to explore the environment further, seeking out clues and information that enhance their understanding of the narrative. Games like AC Odyssey and The Witcher often utilize hub and spoke dialogue system. This approach not only enriches the narrative experience, but also aligns with modern game design philosophies that gives players agency and immersion. Systemic interactions. Systemic interactions differ to traditional dialogue system by focusing on simple gestures rather than full conversation. In these systems, players typically have just two options: to be nice to an NPC.
You okay, Abigail?
Settling in?
Good.
Or to bully them.
How the hell are you still alive?
Well, ain't that charming?
This binary choice creates a straightforward yet meaningful interactions. NPCs respond briefly based on the player's choice, which can lead to immediate consequences in the game world. And sometimes players may have the opportunity to adjust their attitude after initial interaction, or not.
God help us. You'll probably live 100 years.
I ain't giving you the satisfaction.
This approach emphasizes player agency and the consequences of their actions, creating a dynamic and immersive experience that can significantly affect the game's narrative. So, what about my game? Since this is a game about exploration and I want to include the conversation into the sense of exploration, the best option for me is hub and spokes. First thing first, I made a document for my dialogue system and now it's time to implement the system into the engine. I'm not gonna bore you with coding stuffs. It took 4 days to make the base codes and half a day to link a simple UI to it. Now I have a tool to make navigation for any conversation. And in the future, I can link other systems like inventory and quest systems to this tool easily. Now, let's see how it's working. But before that, I need an NPC character to interact with. And I think this another pointy hat blocky character will do the job. Let's call him Gandalf.
Gandalf the Fool.
And yep, it works perfectly. Yet another task remains to care of, and that's writing a technical design document for my dialogue system. And done. For the next step, I must decide to work on inventory system or quest system. I don't know yet. Maybe I get rid of this coney-nosed, dumb cubic character first. Let's see what happens in the next week. Thank you for watching. If you like